What's going on, folks? TJ Lauerman, a.k.a. That Sports Gamer here, back at you with episode 45 of Bullpen Banter. I'm joined by my associates. Tired. I got Millennium OS. Millennium, how's it going?
What's going on, guys?
And then I also have Snaggle J.
Yo.
All right, great job. Way to come with the fire. That's what I like.
Hey, bring in the heat.
Bring it.
Let's go.
So, hey, I mean, we got lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Big topic that we're going to talk about are the top 5 win now teams in franchise mode. We're going to hand that over to Millennium and Snaggle in just a couple of minutes. But before we do that, also, we have a ton of your mailbag questions that we're going to answer. If you don't know how to get your questions into the mailbag, you head to the Discord with a little exclamation point BB Discord in the chat. And there's a channel right there for all your mailbag questions that we can ask. Or we can answer. You ask, we answer. That's how this whole internet thing works. So, guys, how's it going? You guys good? Everybody all right?
I've got no complaints. Plugging away at franchise and plugging away at Diamond Dynasty and trying to do. After 2 weeks of dry spell with daily missions, I've gotten 3 player epic missions the last couple days, so that's good. Getting that going, so yeah.
I feel like that's not the only time one of the three of us have talked about a 2-week dry spell recently.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? Come on. We're not doing wacky bits today.
Actually, we are doing a wacky bit. So, guys, if you were here for the spring training before this season, we tested out some fun little games to play during Bullpen Banter. Now, the question is, we're going to play a little bit of 15 questions. For the first round, should the chat know who the player is?
Can I ask a question before you start? Are you going to be showing the player on your stream? Because I won't close my.
Does the chat want to play along?
Oh, I don't know.
Or do we just play it straight, and you can just ask questions to see who the card is? It's up to the chat. A 1 if they want to play along, or a 2 if they want to know the answer. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because when we ran the test, we did it both ways, where they would know who the card is and who they would not know who the card is, and they'd be able to play along at home. Though not really play along because they can't ask questions. And we've only got 15 questions. I see a lot of 1s. I don't remember which one was. 1 is play along, right? Okay. So I have used the great DaddyLeagues.com pack simulator. And I've used the Daddy Leagues Choice Pack simulator. And I have pulled till I have gotten a silver or better card. That is your only hint. This card is silver or better. So theoretically, you should know who they are. Mm-hmm. And you guys have 15 questions. You are a team. So choose your questions wisely. I have a notebook. I have a pen to count your questions. I should just put numbers on the screen. That would probably be a lot easier. And you may begin.
Perhaps, yes.
You may begin whenever you are ready.
Okay, Millennium, do you want to go first?
I completely don't, because I've played all of about maybe under an hour of Diamond Dynasty this year.
That's true.
But you know.
Okay. Okay. No, I got this.
No, I legit don't even know the players. I've between server issues, which while I understand what's going on, like I'm team no money this year. If there's server issues, there's no reason for me to even try to play the games.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can ask one question and find out if you would know who the player is or not.
That's true. Okay. Is it a National League player?
Yes, it is a national. I'm sorry. Can you make that question more specific?
Does this player play on a team that is currently playing in the National League?
So your question is, the team on this card, is it a National League team?
Yes.
Yes, that is one question. I'm just saying.
Okay.
He may be a National League player, known more for, but this is a National League card. I'm just saying. Just throwing things out there.
Because of
I'm trying to help you, trying to keep you clean.
Is it a live
that gives you card? No hint. I'm just telling you that's how it is.
Is it a live series card?
Yes, it is a live series card. That is question number 2.
Is he a position player?
Yes, he is. That is number 3.
Okay, position players is tough. 3.
We did do this initially when we did this in spring training. This was 20 questions. And 20 questions we were able to narrow down to like everything by 20 questions.
Is the player's rating 85 overall or higher?
Yes, that is 4 questions.
Okay, so that means he's a gold or diamond. 4 questions in, we got it narrowed. So gold or diamond narrows it down pretty good. Position player. Okay. Is this player an outfielder as his primary position?
He is
I'm sorry,
not.
is he a what?
Outfielder.
I believe it's an outfielder.
I don't know what that word is, so you're gonna have to try that one again.
He's an aboutfielder.
Outfielder.
Also, if the chat has questions, throw some questions out there. Maybe Millennium would like to use one of them.
Okay, so did you answer yes to that question?
I answered no to that question. He is not
So
an outfielder.
not an outfielder. Okay.
That is 5. You are 1/3 done.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So where are we? National League, 85
National
or better.
League, National
Infielder.
League, gold or diamond. Infielder. Okay.
You know, it's a really boring stream. Not hearing you come up with a question.
I'm thinking I only have 10 questions left. I have to use these wisely. Is the team on the card a National League East team?
That is a no. That is 6.
A National League Central team?
That is a yes. That is 7.
Okay, so a gold or diamond. Is the rating on the card the base non-IE boost rating 90 or higher?
Yes. That is 8 questions.
Okay, how many diamonds are in the National League Central?
That's not a yes or no question.
Okay.
Polishnikov.
I'm only allowed to guess one name, right? If I guess
You can
wrong,
only
that's
guess
it.
one name. Yes.
Okay, is this player on the Cincinnati Reds?
That is a no. That is 9.
How many? Okay. Is this person a Chicago Cub?
I mean, you really probably shouldn't be using Daddy Leagues to cheat, but I'm just saying.
I'm not cheating. I
That
swear.
is yes, and it's a 10.
Okay, so how many diamond infielders are on the Cubs, Millennium?
I would probably think Rizzo.
Rizzo or is Bryant?
Bryant's diamond.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
is Bryant a third baseman as primary? Or is he left fielder as primary?
No, he's a third baseman primary because that's where he's playing this year.
Okay, so is this player a primary position first baseman?
That is a no. That is 11 questions.
Okay, so it has to be.
Does it have to?
Hold on, whoa, wait a second, wait a second. Is this player a live series player?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great question, Millennium. Probably one you should have asked to start with, and then you would have been more involved in these questions. The answer, yes.
Yeah, that was my second question that I asked.
Oh, good. Okay, that's whatever.
I asked that one already. I believe.
Hey, man, I'm not paying attention, so you better be keeping track.
So you know the answer. So say the answer.
Otaveris. Thank you for the follow.
Is it Chris Bryant?
It is Cubs third baseman Chris Bryant.
The Chris who spells his name the good way.
Also, I want to say, I believe Rizzo is gold. If I'm not mistaken.
Red Sox corrected me on that in the chat.
Yeah, see.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have any Cubs players on my team, so it doesn't matter.
They're too expensive. We can't afford those Cubs. Come on, get out of here.
I can't be affording them Cubs.
I got that hot Hector Rondon action. I mean, other than that.
Hey. I think that's probably better than any of the Cubs I have. Sweet. I'm still undefeated at this game. I just have record,
I mean, we might have to make it 10 questions. Might be a little more of a challenge.
We'll see.
The question is, do you want to do one more before we jump into this stuff, or what do you want to do?
No, I'm good.
Chat, give me a 1 if you want another one, a 2 if you want to move along. Leave it to the chat. I'm a man of the people.
Hey, that's fine. I just, we have a lot of things to talk about.
I mean, we do, but hey. I see a 1 from Sporting Moose.
Also, everybody, if you guys didn't notice earlier, I posted a link in the chat to a Twitter post from MLB The Show. There will be a patch and server maintenance overnight tonight.
Oh, look.
Make sure you leave your PS4s on in rest mode so you'll download that patch while you are sleeping.
Ooh, they already want it to be only 10 questions. Do you want to risk it for the biscuit for 10 questions? At 10 questions?
10 questions?
That's what they say. I got a lot of ones, and DJ Allway says it should only be 10 questions, as does Eric NP.
That's 15 questions is a lot.
Okay, let's bring it.
Ooh, wow.
Bring it. Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna find a card. Hold on.
Was that one 11 or 12 questions?
That was technically you answered on the 13th. Like your 10th question has to be a player name.
Right. Okay, so I got to get lucky then, is what you're saying.
But the Daddy Leagues Pack Simulator packs are just as trash as the real ones. So give me a minute here. But yeah, I think your silver or better is a good place, right? Because I think we did gold or better before. And
yeah, we did gold or better the first couple times, and it really narrows it down because if you end up getting a diamond, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
There's only so many diamonds.
I can go with this one. All right, I got a guy.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Okay. Is the team on the card an American League team?
Yes.
American League West.
I mean, I don't even know.
Wow.
What did I say?
Do you baseball at all? Do you baseball?
I mean, that question should actually help you pick out which team it is. Yes, American League West.
Is the player gold or better?
No, he is not.
Ooh, silver.
That's 3.
Okay, that's 3. Yeah, 3 National League West. Okay, if he was confused about the team, it's probably Houston.
I'm assuming Red Sox says there's only 40 diamonds in this game, but I think he may only be thinking live series.
Yeah, you got to count all the flashbacks and stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the player a primary position outfielder?
He is not. That is 4 questions. Oh, they go real quick when you're when you only got 10, huh?
Is he a pitcher?
Yes, that is 5.
Sil-
Wow, 10 questions.
silver-
I wouldn't be anywhere near 10 with 10 questions.
Pitcher.
Is the pitcher left-handed?
He is not. That is 6 questions.
See, your confusion over the team really makes me think it's an Astro. But silver starting pitchers in the NL West.
I don't know if that was your question. Just trying to help you out.
I know. That's fine. I'm good. You're just trying to goad me into asking another question.
I don't want you to construe an answer to one of your questions incorrectly.
Maybe you should just pipe down and let me think.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to keep you on the straight and narrow. I don't want you to be like, oh, well, you said this. And I'll be like, well, your question was this.
How many questions do we have?
You have 3 questions, and then you must give your answer.
3 Okay. Is the player a starting pitcher?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
That is number 7.
So you go.
So he's a right-handed silver starting pitcher in the AL West.
In the AL West, yes.
Yes. How many is that? I feel like that could be a lot.
Actually, that's not that many because a lot of them are bronze. A lot of the starting pitching in the AL West is bronze.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of starting pitchers in the AL West right now.
Or gold. Like Felix Hernandez and Sonny Gray are both gold. Or no, Sonny Gray is silver this year. Never mind. He's there.
So, I mean, you've got Richards. Richards is a silver.
Right.
I don't think Skaggs or Shoemaker is a silver. Shoemaker maybe.
Well, go down
Skaggs.
Houston. Go down Houston. Keuchel, whatever the hell his name is, is probably a gold.
It's definitely a gold.
You got McCullers, McHugh,
And that's it.
There's no one else.
No. Fears is a 78 or 79.
Okay,
and then after that, they got Charlie Morton's a bronze as well.
So you got McCullers and McHugh, both are righties, right? All right, so that's Houston's, right? Seattle's are Felix Hernandez, he's too high. Iwakuma, James Paxton. Who's the other kid that's out there? There's another.
Paxton's a lefty, so he's out.
Okay, so he's out. So Iwakuma.
And then they've got Gallardo, but Gallardo's only
Gallardo's like bronze at least.
Gallardo might be a common actually.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's terrible.
So we got a handful of guys. It could be Richards. It could be Sonny Gray. Could be Richards, could be Sonny Gray, it could be Iwakuma. Texas, Darvish and Hamels are both golds, and the only other one would be Tyson Ross, and I think Tyson Ross is bronze.
Okay.
So
No. Tyson Ross is not a bronze because he's on my Diamond Dynasty team. He's like one of the top guys.
So
it's
he's a
him and
silver.
Pineda. Yeah, it's him and Pineda are silvers. Yeah.
We should probably put a time limit on these questions, right?
No, absolutely not. You wanted to play another one. We're going to work it out. You threw the gauntlet down with the 10 questions.
Do you want? That wasn't me. That was the chat. Do you want to know the answer? You've narrowed it down to. I know exactly how many players you've narrowed it down to.
Well, we've narrowed it down to McCullers, potentially Colin McHugh.
Excuse me?
My count right now is 5,
Or
and we
McCullers.
haven't done Oakland, and we haven't done the Angels. And,
Oakland's just Sonny Gray.
okay.
And
So
then,
that's 6.
And then the Angels would just be Richards.
This is where I like to throw out you sure about that?
We're missing somebody. No, they got somebody else. What the hell is his name? The guy with the beard. The dude with the righty with the band.
They literally
Shoemaker.
all have all the silvers on that team are righties with
Shoemaker.
beards.
You're thinking about Matt Shoemaker.
Yeah, I'm making think about Shoemaker. Shoemaker's the one with the epic beard.
Yeah, Shoemaker's pretty good. Okay.
All right, so we have Tyson. I just wrote him down. We have Tyson Ross. We have Lance McCullers. We have Colin McHugh. We have Hisashi Iwakuma. We have Garrett Richards. We have Matt Shoemaker, and we have Sonny Gray.
Okay, and we have 2 questions, and we have to guess. We got to find a way to narrow this down.
Did you narrow down if it was
uniform.
live series or not?
What color?
What?
Oh, we didn't find it was live series or not.
I don't remember. I'm just asking.
I believe I asked if it was live series.
I'm gonna guess that it's live series. We're gonna go on the fact that we think it's live series.
The biscuit risk.
Yeah, we got to risk it with the 10 questions. Okay, so let's say what teams have colors in common.
So we have
Athletics in
red
Seattle
with the
have-
Rangers. Yeah, Athletics in Seattle have what?
Green.
No, they don't because Seattle's got teal.
Seattle's, yeah, it's like a teal, yeah.
So you've got Texas has got blue and red. You've got the Angels have red. The Astros have orange and is it gold? Is it gold? What is their color? I don't know.
It's orange.
Bronze.
Yeah, it's like an orangey color. I would
We're
classify
gonna,
it as
orange and blue. It's like orange and navy, right?
MK pulled 2 golds today. Great job. Welcome to the PlayStation Nation. MK hit Orion.
All right, so let's say if we ask for red, we know it's either LA or Texas
Yeah.
because we're not using alternate color uniforms like the freaking rainbow ones for the
Oh my
Houston.
God, remember those
Astros?
sweet red Astros jerseys?
Yeah, I do remember this.
I think I have a hat somewhere. Lima time.
Okay, so we could do red, we could do yellow, and yellow would be what? Just Oakland. We're not going to get some. We could get navy. Navy is with Houston and Seattle.
Yeah. Go with your gut, big fella. What do you think?
I think we have time to answer these questions.
All right, here you go. Does the jersey of the person in question have red in it?
No.
Okay,
All right,
so that eliminates Angels.
What teams did you say have red in them?
Texas and the Angels.
Then no, it does not have red in it.
All right, so it's either McCullers, McCullers, McHugh, Iwakuma, or Sonny Gray.
Okay, we have one more question to narrow it down. So we have Seattle, Oakland, and Houston. I mean, we could. Well, no, they're all in different states.
Well, but if you eliminate a state, then you at least have one of the two.
That's true.
Hold on. What's you could say? Can you say is his overall this? Because we don't know.
Yeah,
his
but
overalls, never mind.
I don't know
Yeah.
them good. I don't know them good enough right off the top of my head.
So we have McCullers, McHugh, and Iwakuma, right?
Yeah, and I'm on the fence about McHugh, but he might be an 80.
We have Gray too. Crap, we have 4.
Yeah, I know we have Sonny Gray. Okay, Gray wears 50.
So we ask if they're on the Astros. We split them in half, and then we guess one of the two.
All right, good call. Is he on the Houston Astros?
He is on the Houston Astros.
All right,
That is 9.
so 50-50.
I missed it. What did he say?
He is on the Astros. We have one. We have to guess who it is.
You gotta
What
just
do you
went with,
think?
does his last name start
Still
with
went
an M?
with your gut. Still went with your gut.
Okay, so what's your gut telling you, Mill? Do you think it's McHugh or do you think it's
No,
McCullers?
we're going with your
Or
gut
McCullers.
because your gut
McHugh or
is
McCullers?
that you knew that TJ didn't know what league the Houston Astros were in to start with, So we're gonna go with your gut.
To
on
be
this.
fair,
So
they were in
McCullers or McHugh?
they were in the NL Central, right?
There is no fair here. They've been in the AL for a long time, dude.
Yeah, they've been in the AL since like it's been like 4 years now, I believe.
Long enough to
it's-
where it should know better.
Okay, it's Lance McCullers or Colin McHugh.
It's McCullers, by the way.
McCullers, yeah, I know. I always pronounce his name wrong. TJ gives
It's
me a
okay.
hard time. I'm doing it more just to upset TJ now.
I think it's just whenever you see a U, like you automatically go ooh.
I'm surprised it doesn't add an
You're
O
boot.
for the Canadian.
I'm Canadian.
Apparently.
You're Colin McHugh.
You are. That's not a question.
Are you calling me?
I don't. It's not a question. I have to tell you. Are you Colin McHugh?
That's a question. And the answer is no. I am Lance McCullers.
I read there. Just the heads up, Red Sox.
Darn it. All right. Well,
10 questions is definitely better because you have to start asking creative questions.
Yeah.
yeah.
It should be
I
10
should
questions
have-
from now on.
I really should have asked the Houston question. I knew.
And- and-
I knew.
What year did
Boo-
this switch to?
And boo on you for not getting it.
Yeah. Sorry. My apologies. Thank you for your late help. All right. Can we move on to something that's relevant?
Yeah, Carlos Beltran. Because he played on the Astros when they were in the NL, right? Yeah. And now he's on the Astros and they're in the AL. Awkward. Awkward for everybody. Just saying.
All right.
All right, do that share play thing and let's talk about franchise mode.
Okay.
The question is, do you know how to use share play?
You have to ask for it, don't you?
Nope, you have to give me permission, I believe.
While you guys figure this out, I'm going to answer
I
a
got
question
it.
in the chat. If you need desperate practice, what modes should you be playing?
Practice
There's
mode.
a couple different things you can do. You can do practice mode for situational. Challenge of the week, if you need practice on hitting, challenge of the week is amazing. It's a great way to, because it also steps you up as you start getting better. So if you're in rookie mode and hit a couple hits, you'll move up to veteran and stuff like that. The other thing you can do is something that TJ taught me a while ago. If you're having problems hitting, go into Road to the Show and hit, because that's all you'll do. Turn off fielding, turn off everything. Just hit. If you're having problems pitching, go into Road to the Show, create a pitcher, and pitch.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly the best thing you can do.
Yeah, I do like the idea of doing the challenge of the week stuff. That is a good way to but I feel like that's more of a get you loose for to start playing for the night, like how you do it.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I normally spend 10 to 15 minutes in challenge of the week, 1 or 2 times around. So
That seems
You got disconnected, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. When I tried to start it, it says even though I'm plugged in and I have great internet, it says my internet is too slow to use SharePlay for whatever reason.
It's this trash bag. Okay, fine. Walk me through it.
Oh, you can try again. Whatever you feel like.
All right, I think I sent you an invite. I don't even know.
Oh, I set it up, so
I think I hit join, so maybe that'll work.
Yeah, maybe that's where you want to be.
Yeah, definitely like the. Oh, sweet, there we go. Yeah, definitely like the idea of challenge of the week to play before you start your night of playing. It's a good thing to loosen up, and then also, like Millennium said, that I said, Road to the Show. Specifically, if you're like getting a new batter and you don't like his batting stance, and you've already spent way too much stubs on him, that's a great way to get used to him. Like an Adrian Beltre, who has a tough stance.
the other thing you can do, like I said, if you use analog pitching, I absolutely say you should do the same thing. Go into practice mode and play pitching so you can warm up. It's just like if you play Tiger, or Rory McIlroy golf, you should go into the practice range before you go out there and get that rhythm going with up and down on the analog stick.
Or like real golf.
Like real golf. Golf.
Golf. Golf. McCooler's golf.
Yes, exactly.
I love you, Snaggle.
Thank you. The feeling is not mutual.
All right. Top 5 win now teams to use in franchise mode for Diamond Dynasty. Take it away. I'm going to get a drink. I don't care about
I think the best place to start if you're using top 5 win now teams in franchise is why not start with the defending World Series champion Chicago Cubs, who have, they have pretty much all of their roster back from last year, with the exception of they swapped out closers. They got rid of Chapman through free agency, and they traded for Wade Davis. They have 5 diamond players. So you have Wade Davis, you have Chris Bryant, who's only 25 and is 92 and an A. So all of these, the roster we're using tonight is the OSFM 1.75, which you can download from the vault. It should be at the top of your screen when you head into the roster vault. So yeah, they also have Lester, who's getting up there a little bit. Does have an almost $20 million salary, but he's still very, very good. And Anthony Rizzo and Jake Arrieta as well, all of their diamonds. Millennium, do you think, just what you know of the Cubs roster, do you think they have any holes, anything that they need to fix just right off the hop?
Not really. I mean, you've got Zobrist, who can pretty much play everywhere around the diamond, even though he's getting older. The one problem you're going to run into is you're eventually going to have to pay all these guys. Now that's not talking about win now. We're talking about win now for the first year, so that's not too bad. But eventually, all these young guys hit at about the same time, in about 4 to 5 years, depending on how far you get into your franchise. That being said, they become really good trade pieces at some point too. So I don't think they have a huge hole outside of maybe middle relief. Their middle relief getting to Wade Davis might be a little shaky, but it's still so good. Like, even their back end of the rotation is good. So I don't think you have really that much to worry about. Now rotational depth, I will say rotational depth. If you get the rotational depth, you're done. If someone gets hurt, you're screwed, because they don't have any starters.
Yeah, so. I feel like 1 through 5, Lester, Arrieta, Hendricks, Lackey, and Anderson is very, very good. I mean, Anderson being a number 5, Anderson's always a guy that people love using in franchise mode. He always pitches well above his rating, it seems. But yeah, I mean, your jump after that is you're going down to Williams Perez, who's a 67. And the thing is, they don't even have really any young prospects. I mean, you have to go all the way down to Dylan Cease to find a 60 overall B. Yeah, I agree. Starting pitching depth is a big problem. Their bullpen is pretty good. They have Hector Rondon, they have Uehara, they have Pedro Strop. So, I mean, they have a lot of good arms down there, but they could use a lefty. Is definitely something that they could. Mike Montgomery's good, but not great. But yeah, I think, again, this is a team you can pick up. A lot of A's. I mean, you have Wilson Contreras, you have Rizzo, Zobrist, Javier Baez. You have Ian Happ, who's knocking on the door in AAA. It's just a very well-rounded, very good team that you'll be able to get through a season or two before you really have to start worrying about salaries and things of that nature.
Man, I will say, only they had a power lefty in the pen, like Aroldis Chapman, they could probably win the World Series.
Exactly. Well, I will say this now: they don't have a power lefty, but they do have 2 lefties that are not on the major league squad yet. Manny Parra and Brian Dunsing, both guys in the bullpen, both lefties that you can bring up. That even though their overalls are low, they are very, very good as lefty matchups. So I think you should be okay with those.
Yeah. Yeah, I always loved Manny Parra in the last couple of MLBs as picking up a guy, just a cheap option in your bullpen that you'll be able to use.
Parra's split fingers is really good. And Dunsing's a 5-pitch sinker guy, so that's always good in the show. 5-pitch sinker guy could really, really help you there.
Yeah. All right, so that's the first recommendation. I'm just going to R2 until we come to the next one, and that would be the Los Angeles Dodgers, led by the man himself, Clayton Kershaw. Again, a very formidable roster. You have 3 diamonds right off the hop with Kershaw, Kenley Jansen, and Corey Seager, who obviously are all A potential. I feel like the biggest strength with the Dodgers roster is it seems like they're very well-rounded and they have a lot of depth at very key positions. They have a lot of starting pitcher depth. They have a lot of bullpen depth. The only thing is first base I feel like could be a bit of a weakness. I know they have Cody Bellinger as an A prospect, and his ratings are actually a fair bit better than they were on the OSFM from last year. So he should develop and be a nice replacement. Dodgers thoughts, Mills?
I mean, I think they're probably the favorites, even past the Cubs for MLB The Show. I like the matchups they have. I love the fact that they have both of their utility guys, both that play second base, with Hernandez and Logan Forsythe, and you have a full-time second baseman in Chase Utley that you can still use there. I think their outfield is sneaky good. I'll say. I think Van Slyke plays better than his ratings show, and he's like the third best left fielder. So that's not even including the fact that Yasiel Puig is amazing in right field. And once you really want to concentrate on his fielding rating, and I think Jock Peterson is very good for center field too. I think they're probably in the best position to win now, while the Cubs are in the best position to win over the next 3 and 4 years.
Yeah. I feel like people always immediately knock left and center field for the Dodgers. But if you platoon Andrew Toles and Scott Van Slyke, you end up with 77 contact versus righties, 71 contact versus lefties, 43 power versus righties, and 67 power versus lefties, which as a guy who's going to bat in your 7 or 8 hole in your lineup, I mean, you're going to take that every time. Platooning those two guys is very, very good. And yeah, the Franklin Gutierrez being on the team with 91 power from both sides is unbelievable. And not to mention Franklin Gutierrez plays well above average defense as well. So yeah, even though people seem to pick out left and center field, they definitely have the pieces there to put together a very good team. And I agree, they're definitely built up to win right this minute.
Yeah, and
TJ.
Apropos of nothing, in Out of the Park, Cody Bellinger ends up being a monster. So yeah. I would assume he ends up being a monster in here too.
They definitely improved his ratings in the 17 version over the 16 version. He does start as a top 50 prospect. He has 66 contact versus righties, 57 contact versus lefties, 54 power versus righties, and 47 power versus lefties. And he's an A, 67 overall right now. But he's only 21, and so he will definitely mature into your eventual Adrian Gonzalez replacement. Yeah, Gonzalez under contract for 2 years in the base rosters or the OSFM rosters. So.
Yeah, so by the time he's done, Bellinger should be mid to high 70s. Right?
And as an A prospect at 21, he's going to start. You won't see it in the first year. He'll probably be low 70s when he gets to 22. When he gets to 23 and 24, he's going to skyrocket very, very fast. I know he's got. Oh, help me out here. I know he's got secondary of either left or right field, but he does not have the ratings to play it.
Right field, and you're right. Currently, 57 fielding, 53 arm strength, 42 arm accuracy, 56 reaction. So he would definitely need some very good fielding boosts through training or through some pretty good luck with the progression engine to be able to play corner outfield. He does have half decent speed. 55 speed is not awful for a first baseman or a corner outfielder, but yeah, definitely not somebody you want to stick out there off the hop. And the thing I like about them is again, as a win now team, they have a lot of guys that they can that they could trade. I mean, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 70 or higher relievers, a lot of whom have B potential, and their starting pitching depth is probably unmatched in all of baseball in this roster. With you have 5 80s, and then you have you have Urias and Scott Kazmir and Justin Masterson, and then you have Yadier Alvarez as an A potential prospect knocking on the door as well. So they are very, very, very deep. Next up, everybody's favorite team, the Boston Red Sox, who, they don't show off the same level of ratings as the Cubs and the Dodgers, but the way their roster is constructed, they are very much win now. You have Sale and Price, obviously, and Porcello is very highly rated. But it's the young and powerful hitters. I mean, and Hanley Ramirez is not young, but he's a very capable hitter at the plate. Pedroia, not young, but a very good hitter in his own right. They seem to have a very solid bat at every single position. And that bat is either an established veteran with very good attributes or a youngster who's going to blossom into something fantastic.
Agreed. Their outfield is probably the best young outfield in baseball.
Yeah.
Sandoval is again one of those sneaky good players in MLB The Show that will help you even if he's not playing for you. Marco Hernandez might be one of those guys you want to hold on to. Marco Hernandez is probably better suited at third base for you over the long haul than Sandoval is, and over the long haul, meaning over the next 2 years probably, before Devers comes up. So I think Marco Hernandez ends up, because of his potential, he is I think he's like 23 or 24. And I think he's a high B.
24,
so,
and he's a B potential right now.
Yeah, so he's a B potential. He's in that perfect spot where you're going to start seeing him progress more and more. Put your training on him into your into contact, put him at third base, and by the end of the first year, you will be ready to move on from Sandoval.
Yeah. I actually prefer, like, if I was starting this franchise with the Red Sox right now, I would actually prefer to keep Marco Hernandez and play him at third base over Devers, simply based on the fact that I don't know if Devers' fielding is going to progress to where I would want to have as my primary third baseman. He only starts with 49 fielding. That's going to be a tough climb for him to get up into the 75, 80 range where you're going to feel confident at third base. And again, where you're in a win now mode, if you decide you want to use Marco Hernandez as your third baseman of the future and you decide to trade Devers as an A potential prospect, you're going to get a massive trade package back for him, I feel like. And you can't forget, you got Brock Holt as well, who qualifies at every single position on the diamond with the exception of catcher. And has 70 contact versus lefties and righties. So again, a very, very nice utility player to have on your bench.
And what's really nice about that, again, having that utility player gives everybody time off without hurting your lineup. Like, you could play Brock Holt 5 to 6 days in a week, and everybody gets a day off.
Yeah.
And you don't lose the extra time from that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very, very key for fatigue management to have a Brock Holte kind of guy. There are some people who point to catcher being a weakness for the Red Sox, with Sandy Leon and Christian Vasquez as their primaries, and then Blake Swihart as their future guy. I'm not really concerned about that. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's going to bat probably ninth in your lineup. Sandy Leon has average, maybe slightly above average defense, as does Vasquez. That would be my only concern is you might be better off in, trying to swing a deal for a better defensive catcher, but you could get by with what they have.
Blake Swihart's a monster, and will be a monster by the second year.
Yeah.
If you can get by with Leon for the first year, you will have no problem with Blake Swihart behind the plate.
Yeah, I almost feel like you're better off maybe bringing Swihart up right away. I mean, he has the contact ratings to play, and you could leave him down in the minor leagues to develop a little more and use Christian Vasquez, or you could definitely switcheroo them ones. Next up, as I try to remember on the list who we were going to cover, would be the Texas Rangers. A little bit of a different scenario than most of the other teams, as the Rangers do not have a 90 or higher player on their roster, but they are set up to win now, mostly because of the fact that they are aging. They are a very aging team. You have Beltre's 37, Hamels is 33. Gomez is 31. Even Darvish is 30. Lucroy is 30. Chu is 34. So they're getting up there in the age department. So if you want to take over the Rangers and you want to win, you have a relatively small window in which to get it done, I feel like.
Well, and that is the definition of win now. And that's kind of why we put the Rangers in there as opposed to another team, which I'm going to talk about. Actually, there's two dark horse teams, and one of these is not going to sound like a dark horse team. The other one will be. But that's where the Rangers are right now. They have the rotation to win right now. They have the bullpen to win right now. They have the lineup to win right now. And if you don't win right now, you are going to rebuild. Yeah. So even though you have guys like you've got Martin Perez, you've got AJ Griffin. I mean, AJ Griffin's not really going to go up that much, but neither is Tyson Ross. And you have Tyson Ross on this team, even though he's injured in real life. So I mean, think about that. Darvish, Hamels, Ross is your top three. That's really good. So their lineup's going to be amazing. You could, if you really wanted to, trade Profar at some point, and get that last piece if you are in the hunt at the trade deadline, although I don't suggest it because Profar is probably one of those pieces you build around for years to come.
Yeah. I feel like the first thing that sticks out to me with this team is they have a good but not great bullpen, which, if I'm fishing around the trade deadline, I'm probably going to see if there's some bigger name relievers out there. You have Dyson as an 81, and then everyone else is bronze or below, but they're very good arms. Keela's very good. Wright is very good. Jeffers is very good. They all, Diekman, who is hurt IRL, but you could use him in this game, no problem. Lots of good velocity arms down there. But yeah, again, I agree with what you said. They're just a very well-rounded team, but the window is definitely small for this team to win. Darvish is a free agent after the first year. So you definitely have to make some quick decisions on what you want to do. Do you want to trade some of your younger guys and really try to load up, or do you want to stay the course and see if maybe you can win it with what you got, and then because you're definitely going to be into a rebuild within the first couple seasons for sure.
Yep.
And last but not least, on the top 5 win now franchise teams, the Washington Nationals, also formerly known as the Montreal Expos.
I don't know if they're going to beat out the Braves, though. That's so probably not a good choice.
That's a different conversation for a different show. Braves will be on the set fire to the building franchise recommendations. So the Nationals have one diamond player, that is Bryce Harper. And then, they have a formidable pitching staff. They have a lot of very, very, very good players. You have Trey Turner, who's only 23. Harper's only 24, and you've got him for 2 years. You got him for the first year, and then he's arbitration eligible for the second year. That's going to be a big problem if you make it. If you go into season 3, Harper's going to want a lot of money. But yeah,
start thinking $30 million a year. That's normally what he and Machado end up wanting is $30 million a year for somewhere between 7 and 9 years.
Yeah, and that's going to eat up a lot of your resources for sure.
Yep.
Especially considering, that Scherzer's on a long-term deal, on a 5-year deal. While it seems friendly, it does increase, $2.5 million over the life of the deal. You have to consider that.
Yeah, the only problem is he's going to be getting old.
He is, yeah, exactly. Strasburg on a long-term 7-year deal. So a lot of these guys you're going to be stuck with. You do free up some salary with Gio Gonzalez the first year. But yeah, the thing I like about the Nationals is they really just don't seem to have any holes, with the exception of maybe closer. And I feel like, while you probably don't want to use Blake Treinen as your everyday closer, I feel like Sean Kelly and Oliver Perez, that combination in the back of the bullpen, probably good enough to close out games for you. I think Kelly's probably the guy that you're going to lean on a little more regularly. You look at some of his attributes, and they're just fantastic. But yeah, other than that, I feel like they've got pretty much every other position at the major league level locked down. And then you still got some prospects, guys like Victor Robles and what's his name? Can't think of the other guy who I was flashing by. But yeah, I feel. Go ahead.
Millennium, correct me if I'm wrong. The A potential on a guy like a 34-year-old Max Scherzer, that just means their decline is going to be much slower than normal, right?
Yeah, it means potential on an older guy. I think Scherzer was like 32 or 33 right now.
32, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So that just means that he's going to fight his fight regression better than most will. And now his regression will also be tied to his performance. So if Scherzer doesn't perform well for you, then he will still regress. But yeah, the potential means something for the older guys too.
Yeah. What was it? He had like a 5-year deal, so he should be good for at least 2 or 3 of those, right?
Yeah,
assuming he plays well.
Scherzer, because he's not a velocity pitcher, because he is more of a, I mean, he's got velocity, but he's more of a control guy. So his per nines are I think, pretty high already.
They're very, very good.
Yeah, so you're not going to have to worry about his regression as much as you would some other ones. The problem is, he's 32, and I think he's at in the game, he's like at 13 or 14 million a year, which is significant for a starting pitcher. Okay. So he is going to eat at your budget until he's 35. He'll probably retire right around 36, I would think.
Yeah, he starts at 11.3 the first year, and progresses up to 13.8 million. And I mean, if he sticks around that long, he's going to be 37 years old, making $14 million on your team.
Right,
on a team where you have to pay Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper makes $12 million in the game in this roster. You have to think arbitration. He's probably going to get 15, maybe 16. So I mean, you're looking at having to, if you want to keep Bryce Harper on this team, you're going to have to double his salary between year 2 and 3. And that is going to be tough to do given some of these aging salaries that you're going to have kicking around.
And remember the way budget works in franchise mode. Whatever your starting salary is for your starting 25 people, you get 10 million above that. Well, not just the starting 25. Your starting salaries for your entire 90-man roster, you get 10 million above that. Yeah. So think, if Harper's making 12 and he's going to want 30, you're already looking at 18 million above your normal budget, which will probably, because you'll probably succeed your first year, it might go up 2%, maybe 3%. You're not going to get a huge bump. So you're looking at $18 million to try to find somewhere. And Scherzer's going up. So you're going to get a couple more, a couple million out of that. So now they don't have those contracts. They don't have expiring contracts. Like, I think we might be able to get rid of Strasburg, who's at like 10, I think. And I think Daniel Murphy's the only other one with a really significant contract outside of, the one thing I will say is I think Wieters has got a 2-year deal. So Wieters' 2-year deal might be gone too. But other than that, I mean, like, you got to start looking at money that you're going to lose and how to get rid of them. So,
yeah, the one thing that probably the biggest plus of this team, 6 years of Trey Turner.
Trey Turner's a monster. Yeah, Trey Turner's an absolute beast.
6 years of Trey Turner. I mean, you might get unlucky with the service time, and he might only end up with 5 years of team control. But still, to be able to have Trey Turner for 6 years, him already be an 88, qualify at short, second, third, and center field, and have contact ratings of 91 and 78 and 96 speed. That would definitely be ideal. But yeah, those are the 5 win now franchise teams that we've identified. I believe next week we're going to talk about top 5, like teams that are close. I don't know how we're going to word it. Teams that are on the cusp, perhaps.
Knocking on the door. Maybe.
Yeah, knocking on the door. Knocking on the door of the basement or knocking on the door of a title.
The 3 to 5 year builds, essentially.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
With the Nats, also, you're going to get Matt Wieters off in 2 years. You're going to get Jason Worth. I think this is Jason Worth's last year where he's got on this deal, and he's got that big deal. Murphy's got 2 more years, I think.
Yeah, but if you're continually trying to
one more.
Yeah, if you're continually trying to win with them, though, you're going to have to find replacements that are going to cost, almost as much. Worth's deal isn't really that much when you're looking. I think he's like if I remember correctly, it's like 6.5, 7.5,
7.8.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. His default contract is not as much as it probably should be. I mean, you're losing. You get rid of 7.8, but you're going to have to spend probably 4 to 5 of that to get a replacement left fielder.
Yeah, agreed.
With that has anything close to what Worth offers.
And that's the thing is, do you roll with the devil that you know, or do you roll the dice in free agency and try to get somebody better? It's a crapshoot. It really is.
You just signed Shohei Ohtani for $500K.
Yeah, I'm guessing your best bet is probably Robles or Goodwin, but both of those guys are built as center fielders. Like, they're not built to be left fielders.
And they're a ways away. Yeah,
so I mean, like, I really don't know what your best bet on that would be.
Yeah. I think you again, with the way that team is structured, you probably roll with it for the first year, and then see what you might be able to make for upgrades. Because again, the Jason Worth trade market's not going to be huge. I mean, you might be able to find someone to take him off your hands, but you're not going to get much in the way of helpful returns. But yeah, I think you can stay the course for the first year. They have a very good team. I mean, the thing with the Nationals that we really didn't talk about with any of the other teams is the Nationals have a lot of divisional competition from the Mets. The Mets are a very good team as well, that can give them a run for their money. So you kind of have to just play out a few months and see how it goes and make a decision from there.
And the Braves are knocking on the door too. The Braves have a lot of, I mean, they're your young talent, but the Braves have a lot of really close young good talent. So
some would call them the number one farm system in baseball.
I hate to say this. Also, the Phillies aren't. I mean, the Phillies are probably 3 to 4 players away. Which in MLB The Show, you can turn that around in a year. So it's just one of those things. You got to be careful of pretty much all the teams in the East.
Yeah, agreed. Especially with a 2 wild card system. I mean, it's pretty much every team has some sort of chance.
I mean, we didn't even talk about the Marlins. I mean, even the Marlins are good. Jesus, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a tough. Like I said, when you look at a lot of the other teams we covered, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say the Cubs are, head and shoulders above all the other Central teams. With the Dodgers, you do have to contend with the Giants, who are a very good roster as well. But yeah, just that National League East. I mean, anything can happen in the National League East. With the pitching that the Mets have, and the youth, and the upgradable, and the trade potential that Atlanta has. With guys like Stanton and Gordon and Yelich on the Marlins. It's a very tough division. So if you're picking the Nationals with intentions of winning, you have to pay very, very close attention to what's going on and make some quick decisions with your roster for sure.
All right, run down the top 5 one last time.
So the top 5, we had the Washington Nationals, we had the Chicago Cubs, we had the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Boston Red Sox, and the hated Texas Rangers.
No love for the Indians. Just saying.
I think we had that discussion, and yeah, another conversation for another day, perhaps.
Maybe for next week. Who knows?
I'll give it to you just real quick a little preview. The Indians are missing some very key spots. They're very top heavy, and they do have some good talent. But when you look into their individual ratings, they're missing some things. So
yeah, and the thing is, what that can't be lost is if the Indians were a National League team where they did not have to use a designated hitter, they would probably have been closer to being on this list. But being in the AL where they have to waste one of those big bats at DH, it definitely leaves them with an additional hole in their everyday lineup.
All right. This has been fun. I have no idea how to get out of the share play party.
Oh, I probably have to end it. One
Boot
moment,
me.
please.
Boot me from it.
Give controller to visitor. Ha! Not a chance. I have better sense than that.
That's what MK is going to do, so I can help him get a sweet, sweet team in Diamond Dynasty.
Oh, sweet.
We have a huge mailbag. I feel like Santa Claus right now with how big that mailbag is. And by that I mean I'm Santa Claus because I stand there and I got my elf Snaggle J carrying the mailbag.
Not a I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have probably a dozen questions here right now.
Oh my god! And if you have more questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. While we do that, I guess to keep them entertained, I will play a little BR, assuming I can get a game going. And a reminder: tonight, technically, while we sleep, there will be a patch to MLB The Show and server maintenance.
And server maintenance, yep, and server maintenance. The server maintenance being the big thing because that will kick you offline.
Yep. Yes, it absolutely will.
1 week we should definitely talk about BR draft strategies.
Yeah.
I have Zach Britton. I took a diamond closer because I'm not playing around no more.
Wow. All right, hey. Okay, first question comes from Phantasmic Fields. Who's your go-to pinch hitter?
Right now, depending on how the game works itself out, an IE boost, I'm probably going with like a Brandon Belt right now.
Okay.
Just saying.
Millennium?
Anybody else?
Mine would be right now would be JD Martinez.
Monster.
He hits well from both sides. Doesn't play great defense. So I would rather have him as the ability to hit lefties or righties. Whenever I see him in BR, I try to grab him and hopefully have him on the bench.
Do you guys? I just want to take remember how last year Brian McCann had those crazy splits against lefties?
Yep.
With the BR boost right now, Brandon Belt is plus 13 against lefties in both, which gives him an 83 contact versus lefties and a 91 power versus lefties.
That's pretty solid.
Belt's a monster.
That's not too shabby for a lefty.
Yeah. For me, it's I would also say I always have JD Martinez on the bench, but to offer something a little different, I keep Starling Marte on the bench as well, and use him in situations where.
Why is he on your bench?
Why is he on my bench?
Why is he not starting for you?
Well, because right now I'm using the Griffey in center field, the rookie Griffey, to accumulate all of that foolishness, and I have McCutcheon in one corner and Ryan Braun in the other corner. So. So I use Starling Marte. Again, a nice speed contact combination on the bench. Next question, and this one would be, I guess Millennium will have the opposite side of the coin on this, but why do you prefer to use meter pitching? Apparently we didn't talk about it a lot during the settings discussion and didn't think we gave analog a fair comparison.
I believe on the settings discussion, Millennium was not here, and we said we would leave it to Millennium to talk about analog pitching.
Yes. So Millennium, tell us why analog is better or more effective than meter based.
Analog gives you the best user control over your pitching. Means it takes the CPU rating out of the equation the most. So for the bonuses, it goes analog, meter, pulse, classic. In that order, how much the ratings matter. So you can actually, if you're really good with analog, now you still get the analog does still get messed up a little bit if you have a low BB over 9 or a low control rating on a pitch. But if you're really good with the analog, you can stop looking at BB over 9 the way we don't look at HR over 9. You can stop looking at those numbers for the most part and worry more about, like a Jake Diekman or like a Kyle Barklaw, who has a really low BB over 9 in your bullpen, but has like 99 hits and K over 9. So your best bet is to is to train yourself on analog if you can, and go from there.
Yeah, I've been dabbling with the analog in my play versus CPU games. I still don't have it to the point where I would be confident using it in a like seasons game or a game where there's rankings. I've been dabbling with it, and I have been impressed with the amount of control that you could exude on a pitch. I feel like it's definitely something that I'm going to try to put the work in on analog and be able to be able to use that as my primary.
Yeah, I need to check them out. I mean, might have to go with that in a little road to the show action, but I'm definitely not going to use that online anytime soon.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is, so a lot of people try to rush it, like try to flick up as quickly as you possibly can. The thing is, it's just like golf, like we talked about before. There has to be a rhythm. You have to have a rhythm to it. You do not have to push up as fast as you want to. You can, you easily push up on it and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I would like to answer Bob H's question.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to jump to Bob's question in the chat before the chat moves up, and then I forget about it.
Do it.
So Bob is wondering thoughts on using Control Freak or similar thumbsticks. I know, Millennium, you use some sort of thumbsticks.
I use Control Freaks.
I use a cheap little version that we sell up in Canada here. I don't even remember what it's called.
Gel tabs?
No, they're just little slip-on ones. But I mean, they're like $10 Canadian, so that'd be like 47 cents American.
Yeah.
I only use them on the right thumbstick.
Interesting.
Well, and I use them primarily for NHL. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys think it adds a lot to the game?
Yeah, so I use the football ones, though I have now rubbed the football cap off of both of mine. So I just have the little green base part on. I feel like it gives me a little extra control on the analog swing. Or not analog swing, what is this stupid thing called? Zone swing. But yeah, I love them. Actually, I have my FPS freaks. Maybe I'll put those on now that I think about it.
So here's what I use, and I use different. I have, God, I hate to admit this. I have probably 12 pairs of Control Freaks right now.
I have like 5, so don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, so like 10 of them for PS4 and 2 of them for Xbox One. And the Xbox One, I've stopped using them much because of my Elite controller. So I use for MLB The Show, I use the CQCX, which is the smaller domed one on the left stick. And then I use the Sniper. It's like a sniper. It's like this DQCX. I think it's called the Ultra X, which is a taller version of the domed one on the right stick. For me, domed feels better. There's dome and convex. So dome, obviously, like a dome. Convex goes in, like the football one you're talking about. You have to have a feel first. For me, what Control Freak does, the science behind it is, if you raise the stick, you have more degrees of angles the stick can move. Mm-hmm. And you can move them at smaller increments, so you can be more accurate. They're originally designed for first-person shooters, where aim means a ton. But in MLB The Show, we use zone hitting a lot like a first-person shooter uses aim. So I will absolutely say that Control Freaks 100% will affect your zone hitting. And for me, my analog pitching. My analog pitching is so much more accurate because I use a taller stick.
Yeah, I'd like the small domed one for the left stick. Not those high ones for the swinging. I like just a little bit up. I find that nice. When I was playing, because I got into Control Freaks when I was playing Black Ops 2, way too much. Prestige Master, what up? I guess that's on like backwards compatible right now. Don't make me buy Xbox Live again and get on there and start roasting fools. But yeah, for that I had the low one on the left and then the high one on the right, because that's when you aim down the sights to your right stick. Yeah, I had the higher one on the right stick so that you have more accuracy when aiming down the sights and stuff. But yeah, I use the Control Freak football. I believe. I don't even know if they make these anymore.
They do. I just threw the link in the chat for what we're talking about. I've never used them personally, but they do. The football is still on there. It's down at the bottom.
And they do have a buyer's guide too, guys. Like they have a buyer's guide that does a pretty good job of saying what do you want out of your sticks. Like what do you want out of your, like they even have racing sticks.
Are they speed sticks, something like that?
Yeah, it's like speed freak, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So that actually form fit around your thumb. so you can it's more comfortable to turn slower.
I'm gonna look if I can find if they're on Amazon right now, because I'm definitely gonna go buy any pair. Because for some reason these ones are really old and they both wore off like at the beginning of the season. So I've just been using like the hard plastic thing.
Wait, so I stick my thumb in there?
Yeah, so you just
speed one, yeah.
rather than putting your thumb on like the edge of the thing when you turn left and right.
I got you.
Yeah, it's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Control Freak makes good stuff. There's a bunch of cheapo knockoffs. I would probably avoid them. I mean, they're probably fine, but I would definitely recommend using the official Control Freaks.
All right, there you go.
Also, bonus points. Control Freak makes a skin thing now, I think, that goes on. But I like squid grips. I don't have them on these controllers. I have it on my MLB one with the wonky joystick. But yeah, squid grips. They give your controller like a little bit more beef around the handles and better grip, supposedly. And they're supposed to like wick away moisture. I don't know if any of that actually happens, but they make the controller feel nicer in my hand. I think they're like $15.
Yep, I agree with that. It's definitely better for the grip, and also good for if your hands sweat. They actually are good for if you have sweaty hands. Sweaty hands.
Good for you.
Sweaty palms.
Sweaty hands.
Back into the mailbag. Phantasmic Feels yet again with another question.
He had a lot of good questions today.
He did. If you could choose one player from outside the game to be put into the game,
I'm sorry, where?
From outside of the game.
So this is Bullpen Banter, where you get out of the bullpen and get into the game. So
one player from outside the game to be put into the game, who would it be?
Garth Brooks. 1996 spring training Garth Brooks.
Okay.
Next.
I mean, Michael Jordan? Give me a flashback Michael Jordan AA card.
That was my first thought. This is gonna sound crazy. I want Will Ferrell. Remember the spring training where he was with all the teams? Yeah, I want Will Ferrell.
Qualifies at every position.
But I want him as Jackie Moon. I want the hair. I want the Jackie Moon hair.
Yes. All right. One last. Oh no, I shouldn't say one last. Another Phantasmic Feels question. What's your favorite ballpark to play in?
All right, I'll answer. Turner Field. I've been using it. Not Turner Field. My field is the not Turner Field. I've been using it as my home field since the start of the year. I play there pretty much exclusively right now. Though you'll never believe where I played this weekend. Beautiful, luxurious Capitol Field. My favorite. An oldie but a goodie.
Millennium. Favorite field? Is it Oriole Park at Camden Yards?
Honestly, no. I bounce back and forth between Oriole Park. I've been playing a lot of Colorado lately. When I do play Diamond Dynasty, I have a tendency of having a better defensive and a quicker outfield. So I try to find larger stadiums with more outfield space. So Colorado, becomes one of those. Cincinnati's one of those. San Diego's one of those. I try to keep to the stadiums that are, more space for me to work with, and I can pitch to both power alleys without a problem.
Either of you guys using historic stadiums? People, I mean,
I don't have any. I don't have any, so no.
I also don't have any. But even when I had them last year, I feel like I'd never really used them. Most of them felt more gimmicky than anything. Yeah. Though I guess this year with Turner Field
I used them for grinding. That was about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you use because remember, if you needed doubles or anything, you could always go to Polo Grounds and just stop at second.
I used Griffith for everything. It just worked out for me. My favorite ballpark right now, and this is going to sound like a homer answer, but I have a reason. I use Rogers Center mainly because I can close the dome and have no wind. The wind seems to play a very large factor on the ball physics, and obviously it's variable depending on,
Some would say too large.
Some would say too large, but that's not where not where I'm coming from.
I believe his nickname is too low, not too large.
I mean, like I said, I can play Rogers Center, close the dome, no wind, so I can kind of control the environment a little bit. I also really enjoy Petco just because I think it's a beautiful stadium, and I always love playing games there.
I have added my Control Freak football replacements to my Amazon wish list.
Very nice.
Probably.
Okay. B has, with a good question in the Discord, outside of Buddy Bell, who is the best collect-all player? We were talking about this beforehand to try and come up with some kind of answer.
I know the best collection I want to have. The collection that we get for TJ to get a quiet keyboard.
Oh my jeez.
I mean, if you guys want to donate money, you can go to youtube.com/thatsportsgamer. Hit that support button on the lefty thing, I think.
My God.
Oh my, yeah, I agree. I'm
Look, I'm upset that you guys aren't professional gamers like me, and thus don't have a sweet Razer keyboard.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't help you.
Hey,
I gotta play Lowell's.
Anyway.
I gotta get those high APMs, and I can only do that with a hot
Right.
keyboard.
Just what you need.
Y'all got that? Y'all got that RGB?
So
Y'all got that RGB though. Just
Yeah,
asking.
right. So anyway, who are you going with, guys?
I
I'm
would.
curious.
So, I've got a few, and again, we're not looking at difficulty to complete the collection. It's just who we think the best reward is. I mean, the Blue Jays 93 Edwin, it looks absolutely phenomenal. 94 power versus righty, 99 power versus lefty, 78 vision is a fantastic card. Again, first base is a bit of a glut, so you know. And personally, from someone that I've used, I really like the Doug Drabeck. He's not super overpowering, but all of his pitches move. He's very hard to square up. I've been having a lot of success with the Doug Drabeck. So just from a card that I've actually used, I would have to go with him.
I mean, I feel like a lot of these guys have a problem. Like the 89 Tulo can't really hit against righties that well. I think it's like 70-70, which, I mean, isn't bad, but it's nothing compared to whatever he hits against lefties.
Yeah. The upside on that Tulo, though, is his shortstop fielding is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you the one I'm going for next. And I'm going after, I think Soria is going to be my next play.
Soria was on my list, yeah.
Yeah, just because he's got, I just want to double check to make sure he's got them both. His changeup and curveball and slider are all pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's at an 89 overall. He's probably, and since he's a flashback and he's not going to have any IE boost or IE hits, he's probably a guy that if you go get now, he's going to be in your bullpen for the majority of, if not the entire rest of the year.
Yeah, I would say
And that's why I'm also, I mean, we were talking about the full team collection, but that's also why I'm doing the Twins mission to get Glenn Perkins, with all the lefties seemingly having negative IE boosts unless they're hurt. Having a lefty in your pen that's not going to be affected by anything could be extremely useful.
Right.
So I think the other thing we're missing here is the Jason Worth for the Nationals. Right field Jason Worth is 87-98 contact right left and 73-95 power. Plate vision is 61, but his fielding is 70, so that means he plays out there. Speed's a 52, which is okay. Reactions a 69, which is above average. Arm strength's an 84. I think, and his discipline's an 88, since check swings are kind of important this year. Not really important, but they're kind of important this year. I think that Jason Worth is, and especially since the team epic it leads to, but I think that Jason Worth is one of the better collections. I almost wanted to say the Brooks Robinson because I knew I was going to get called because of the Orioles fan thing, but I think the Brooks Robinson, if you compare him to the Buddy Bell, I think the Brooks Robinson 83-74 contact, 97 plate vision, 94 fielding, 94 arm strength, 86 arm accuracy. I think if you put him next to the Buddy Bell, I think that closes the entire left side of your infield. And I think his contact and plate vision is high enough this year to be very, very good for you in the corner infield.
Yeah, and that's, I absolutely love the Buddy Bell at short. For anyone who saw the Buddy Bell review video I did, That was one thing I made sure to mention very clearly is Buddy Bell plays at short. And I do love that Brooks Robinson card. I mean, again, we're not talking about price, but I need Manny Machado to get him.
And Zach Britton.
And Britton. Yeah, that's true. But Britton I can probably swing. But that's the thing. If you had a Brooks Robinson, Buddy Bell left side, like, you're set. That's it. Just go home. Don't worry about the left side of your infield again. Especially not from a defensive standpoint, but they're both very capable hitters also.
I assume like the Dallas Keuchel's pretty nasty, right?
He's pretty good.
I mean, it's a 94. He's probably be good. I mean, I'm sure the K-Rod's good, but you're never going to get that unless you have Trout, which is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
What did I see him at?
The K-Rod was very good last year. I know it's missing a changeup, but the K-Rod was phenomenal last year with the slow curve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I think the Soria is kind of like your cheap version of that K-Rod.
Yep, right. And the Soria, I think, is a 5-pitch pitcher, too, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Non-Diamond Dynasty related question. Should steroids be allowed in baseball?
Like real baseball?
The question just said baseball.
No.
You can take a hot no on that one.
I'm going to take a hot no on that one as well.
I would also say testing should probably be a little more stiff in the MLB.
Yeah. They seem to be catching a fair number of people.
I believe the KBO uses the Olympic stuff, and the MLB does not.
Ooh, the Olympic standard, yeah. There'd be people testing positive left, right, and center on a daily basis.
Why are we not using the Olympic standard for all sports?
Well,
that's cost.
Well, what it comes down to is I'm sure that.
Also, I'm sorry. Also, KBO does not have. Well, here's the problem. KBO doesn't have the. I don't know the initials. The exceptions that the MLB has. So, like Chris Davis's, what was it, Adderall he was on?
Oh, it's Adderall. He's prescribed Adderall. Yeah.
So the Olympic stuff does not take that into account.
Well, and here's the big question: does the KBO have a players' union?
Probably.
Nope.
I wouldn't be surprised if the answer to that question was no, and that's why I think again, it's in the age that we're in. It's the players' union is there to serve the best interests of the players. Not saying they're condoning their players doing drugs, but they are. In trying to protect their players from what they feel is quote-unquote unnecessary testing and unnecessary restrictions with what they can put into their bodies. So that's, I think, the reason why the major sports do not have a very strict Olympic-based, drug program.
True, but there are players still asking for more testing.
Absolutely, there are players still, but the players who want less testing aren't going to come out and say that out loud.
Right.
Okay, back to MLB The Show questions. In your opinion, who is the worst diamond position player?
I'm going to have to look.
People are going to hate me. People are going to hate me when I say this.
Manny Machado. You're right.
No,
you're right. Good. Tell me who.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Tell me who, Finger.
Just make sure I'm bringing it up. I just want to make sure that I have it right. Okay, hold on 1 second. I want to make sure that I have all the ratings in front of me, so that way when I say this and people go,
we're talking live series.
I was just talking about diamonds in general.
It does not specify. The question does not specify.
Sure,
it says worst diamond position player.
Fastball misses away here. It's 2-0.
Trying to play. Yeah, I mean, you guys can answer. Hold on.
It's fine. My answer for this is for what you have to go through to get him is Jackie Robinson.
Oh. Yeah.
And it was brought up in the Bullpen Banter Discord before. Like the dude is a second baseman playing third base left field.
I think he's left field by default, and third base is his secondary, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the power to play corner outfield. He doesn't have the fielding to play center field. He doesn't have the arm strength to play third base or corner outfield. He's got 99 contact versus lefties, but he's a 94, and his power versus lefties is 64. Power versus righties is 76. I mean, great. He's got the plate discipline, but he doesn't even have the speed he had last year. Like, he's got nothing. Someone explained to me how Jackie Robinson went from the speed he had last year to 67.
Well, because last year was a combination of all years of his career. This year it's not.
But
Yeah.
what I don't understand, but hold on, you're going to tell me that Jackie Robinson lost in whatever year this is an all-star season. An all-star season, you're going to tell me he went from a 91 speed to a 67 speed?
Maybe he didn't steal that much of it.
But if he didn't steal that much, then make his steal rating down. His steal rating, I get that his steal rating is 78 to 46. I'm fine with that. But speed goes down 24 spots?
Hey, just wait till All-Star break when he gets another 99 at second base with 99 speed. If he was a second baseman, that card's great. Yeah.
Because he's a third baseman left fielder, that card is terrible.
Agreed. I do have my answer now.
Okay, go ahead.
This is an unpopular answer to myself. And the answer is Fred McGriff. Because to get him, you essentially have to get a player that is exactly like him and better. Because I would say, arguably, even without the IE boost, Freddie Freeman might be a better first baseman than him. And with the IE boost, Freddie Freeman is definitely a better first baseman than him.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Ooh, I just screwed up.
So I have two for different reasons. The non-sexy, non-controversial answer is that 90 overall Louis card. I mean, I understand he's got 98 speed. I understand he's got 96 fielding, but the card hits like trash.
I'm sorry.
I don't care if it is
his last name.
He said Aparicio. You cut out.
Aparicio. I know he's got a little bit of contact. He's got 99 vision. For me, I just feel like if I'm gonna get a defense first shortstop, I want Ozzie Smith. I don't want Aparicio. That's just my gut feeling. Also, and this is again maybe controversial, but 92 Barry Larkin just doesn't do it for me either. I don't feel like he's got the fielding ratings. I mean, I know he's got 80 fielding, 78 arm strength. I want more out of my shortstop, and he absolutely can't hit righties. So yeah, those would be two diamonds I would probably avoid.
78 arm strength?
Yeah,
for a shortstop.
For a diamond shortstop. For diamond shortstop.
Yeah,
for regular shortstop, because of humanity AI, 78's not bad. But if you have a diamond shortstop, you're looking at 80. You want to have that arm strength up a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm very curious as to the Jim Palmer, the 90 overall Jim Palmer is crap. Like, there's 94 miles an hour, but his K's over 9 is 65.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these legend, like, low 90s starters are garbage.
And by the way, I'm going to say this to these not necessarily Cubs fans, but the people using this card. That Kyle Schwarber is trash. I don't care that he hit righties. You don't store 90 overall bat unless you have an all-diamond team. At some point, if you have an all-diamond team, I'm fine with it. But guy can't play left field, and all he does is hit righties. So, and he has 34 plate vision. Not worth it.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. Second part of that question, I guess, worst diamond reliever, but is there that many diamond relievers that we could pick out a worst one?
Looking for the strikeout. Here's the one.
Well, it depends. If you're going to talk closing pitchers, maybe. I think that. Hold on a second. I think you could probably find some diamonds.
Andrew Miller and Betances are the only diamond relievers
That aren't closers.
Yeah, and they're both fantastic. And we get them immediately. There is only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only eight diamond closers.
Betances is gold, apparently.
Yeah, Betances is a gold.
No, Betances is not a
Oh,
gold.
no, you're right. He's a
according to
relief
Daddy
pitcher.
Leagues.
Nope, I just looked.
You're right. He's a relief pitcher.
Yeah, he's a 90 on Daddy Leagues.
I'm doing above 90, not 90 or above. Gotcha.
Yeah,
No.
see,
Filters, bro. Filters.
get you every time, brah.
Rated.
Is that Bruce Sutter any good, or Bruce Sutter, however you pronounce it? I was going to say Sutter, but
I'm going to say yeah. 92 hits over 9, 93 K over 9. If there's a 97 mile an hour, or I'm sorry, 92 mile an hour fastball, but a 97 break splitter.
yeah, okay.
I mean, he doesn't have a third speed tier, but I would think that a 97 break, 93 control splitter would make up for that.
Yeah,
But again,
I don't
if someone
think
just contact swings, they could probably foul it off
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, I don't think I can answer this question. I think the 8 diamond relievers, 10 if you include Miller and Betances, are all very good and all should be on your team.
Well, you should probably check what the IE boosts are, especially with those lefties, because you never know.
Now another 0-2.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but Jay Fowler, I don't think Kimbrel is a diamond. Yeah, he's a gold.
Kimbrel's only an 86.
Oh, he was saying worst gold reliever. Never mind.
Oh,
Kimbrel was trash last year, by the way. That Kimbrel card is just terrible.
Yeah.
Stay right where it is at third.
worst gold reliever, Melanson, easily.
Yo, can I give you a low-key OP, like, common reliever in BR? I believe his name is, like, Steven Geltz. He has a nasty splitter.
Is it Geltz or Jeltz? I can't remember.
Whatever which one it is. Nasty splitter.
I pulled Andrew Miller. Congratulations. Can confirm he's an excellent reliever, but not necessarily worth it at this point. But yeah, if you pulled it, yeah, Andrew Miller was absolute fire last year. Okay. 2-part question from Bobo, 99. First part, does batting stance play any part in whether you use a card or not?
Absolutely.
Absolutely on my part as well.
I'll try to learn it, but like if it's just a stance that I can't use now, like I'm different than some people. Some people said they couldn't use Adrian Beltre last year, and I flourished with him.
Yeah.
But like if it's a batting stance that I just cannot get used to, if there's like too much motion or something in it, I'll trash the card.
Yeah, closed front leg guys are very hard for me. Like the Adrian Beltre. Tulo I could not hit with Tulo in 15, and then it took me like half a 16 to figure out how to hit with him.
Yeah. I prefer to stick with guys that have a neutral foot position or a little bit closed. I try to stay away from the really wide open guys. The second part of that question is, do you believe a particular stance has an advantage or disadvantage within the game's code?
No.
Probably not.
I can answer that with it's not even a think, it's a fact. It does not.
Yeah, I know a lot of people last year. Not a lot of people, but I know I've seen tweets in the past where people felt like they could get around later with the two-handed swinging motion, that they could make like incredible, like foul off pitches at like the last minute with a two-handed player that they could not with a one-handed player. Mm-hmm. But I think we've had plenty of insight and plenty of breakdown that is not the case.
Yeah, I've also
the one thing,
Mike Trout.
The one thing you want to know though is, and I think I said this last week, if you have a guy that has extreme pull or push as their batting tendency, you do get a different timing window. You get bonuses if it's a pull or extreme pull hitter. You get bonuses for swinging earlier, and you get penalties for swinging later for trying to go the other way. Just as a heads up, that's why defensive shifts are so good.
Okay, there you go. And last question from the Discord, as we hit the 11 o'clock hour here on the show. CV Hit Squad 04. Who is the best starting pitcher for the value?
Garrett Richards.
Reyes? Reyes is a bronze, isn't he? The best silver starting pitcher for the value.
Not necessarily.
He didn't say silver. Yeah.
Didn't specify. Just
he
the guy
value.
the guy who.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Value from.
Very important question.
Yeah.
What is value to you?
You know what I'm going to say? You ready for this? I'm going to say Michael Waka. Because you can get him very cheap. And value-wise, because of his motion and his pitch mix, like, it's just so hard to hit. Everything he throws at you looks like it's moving left and right. He throws a circle change, which looks almost like a sinker with as hard as he throws it. He's got three speed tiers. His curveball is 75, while his four-seam fastball is 94. And again, just depending on, it doesn't even depend on what camera you use, he has a weird release point. that has not been fixed yet. So, and I'm talking specifically about his All-Star one, his All-Star 82 card.
I feel like if you wanted to spend in a little more expensive, I really like Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah.
Mainly because you have guys in his overall range that are going for 5 figures plus. Garrett Cole goes for over 11K. The 87 Syndergaard goes for like 23K. You got Verlander goes for 55. Greinke, the 88 Greinke goes for 53. Keuchel you can get for, usually between 4,000 and 4,500 stubs, and I feel like he's a very effective pitcher. He has a lot of movement on his pitches. The slider cutter combination, while it takes some getting used to it, it's not super ideal. You have a 6 or 7 mile an hour difference there, so once you master that, it can be very, very effective. I just feel like that Keuchel is a very nice, good gold card for the money. If you want to spend further down the scale, and again, total homer pick, Marcus Stroman. You can have him for like 150 stubs. I know a lot of people prefer the Matt Harvey at like that 80 to 82 overall. I feel like you're going to get more run out of the Stroman. His sinker is absolutely fantastic. The one thing I would caution people with Stroman is stay away from his 4th and 5th pitches if you can, because they're not that great. But his 4-seam fastball, sinker, curveball combination is very, very good.
Maybe like a Rick Porcello. He's actually pretty cheap for what he's actually. I like Steven Matz.
Matz is
he's also quite good.
I hate his slow windup though. Is what gets me with him. I want faster. Let me see.
Flashback Evaldi throws cheddar.
I like the flashback of Evaldi. He's pretty good. We don't have anything to announce on the next Bullpen Banter tournament, do we?
No, not yet.
It was asked a little while ago. That's all the questions from the mailbag.
Yeah. Is there any more?
I know throw out? I did have one more. Someone asked about hitting training, but we already covered that earlier in the show, correct? Wow, about where did I see it? Is there a good tutorial for the hitting modes in the game? I think we covered that, didn't we?
I don't think so. I think we talked about that pre-show.
Oh, okay. Is there a good way to try out all the different hitting modes in the game?
Yes, Options Explorer. Options Explorer is on the front page of the main menu. It lets you try all the different hitting modes and all the different pitching modes in game situations, and explains how the mechanics work and explains exactly what's going on with them.
There you go.
That does it for everything, right? You can do pitching in there too, or
yes, pitching, fielding, and hitting.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll go in there and check out a little analog.
What is each of your favorite colors?
I'm gonna go with a solid red.
Red for me as well.
I am a blue guy.
What? All right, they got to fix these umpires with these check swings. Let's get serious right now.
If that's it, we got one more. I have one thing to announce.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to congratulate Snaggle J on being one of the first Twitch affiliates.
Too kind.
He just found out today. What Twitch affiliate is it's the next tier under partner. It allows you to put bits and cheers, and he gets one emote that he can put up, guys. And I think, can you get subs in that too?
No, not yet.
You can't do subs on that, but you can do cheers and bits. And donations.
You can't do the emotes yet either.
Oh, you can't do the emotes yet either. So,
no,
okay.
they're rolling it out in phases. So in the initial phase, it really just gives you the bits portion of it.
Right.
And then they are going to be rolling out the sub option, which will then give you access to your one emote. Yeah. But hey, thank you very much.
Congratulations, dude. There's a huge thing. I think it's a great program Twitch is doing to encourage smaller streamers to really keep grinding, keep that up. So again, congratulations, and for all the other Twitch affiliates that end up getting it too, congratulations, you guys too.
Agreed.
Agree with you. Nice.
That's it.
Since Marte is suspended, should something happen to his card in the game, nothing will happen to his card. He won't receive any IE boosts anymore. He won't receive attribute upgrades. It's just going to sit there as the 87 overall that he is until he's back. His price, I've had a lot of people reach out to me on Twitter asking about his price. It took a lot of people said, oh my, his price is down like 13K today, which it was, but that's because it took a 12K spike overnight. He may take a very, very small dip in the price department, but again, guys, he's not suspended in the game. The Starling Marte is a very good card. He's not going. I mean, right now, if you put an order in, he's 15,625, and the 15 to 17,000 ballparks where it's been all year, and that's where it's going to stay.
But do look for Andrew McCutcheon's going to play center field, so he's going to drop. I think when you did the move, he's going to drop from an 85 to an 84, right?
Yes, as long as they don't change any of his other attributes.
Yeah. So that'll be one less goal you'll need for the Pirates.
Yes, to get that sweet Doug Drabeck that I told you all about. All right, I think that's.
I mean, War Dog does have a question if you'd like to read it, but
War Dog's question, where is it?
in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Opinions. I'll read it for you. I got it written in front of me already. Opinions on hitting a pitch perfectly, but either soft lining, completely deep fly out, or grounders. Here, let me explain to what's going on. So I'm not going to say that the PCI is broken. I'm going to say the PCI needs to be tweaked, especially online. You have to be very careful what you look at online for the PCI. The PCI feedback is not working as intended, I don't think. So when you center green something, in theory, if you center green something, it should be a hard hit ball, whether it's an out or a base hit or a home run or whatever it is. But when you center green, you still will get out, and that's the way it should be. If it's working properly, you succeed. You get to the Hall of Fame in baseball if you are if you fail 7 out of 10 times. Even if you hit the ball as hard as you possibly can, balls hit and play, batting average on balls hit and play is still not 1,000. So if that's what you're asking, War Dog, my opinion personally, and this is Millennium, is that even if you center green, you should not soft line, but you should hit a ball hard, whether that's a deep fly out, a grounder, or a line drive.
One thing I noticed, and this may or may not be related, but I streamed on Saturday morning and I was playing some Seasons games. And one thing I noticed on maybe between 6 to 10 separate times was that the actual pitch coming in and then the pitch location on the strike zone afterwards were not the same.
Yeah, that was really bad this weekend.
Yeah, like there would be pitchers that would be, say, thigh high on the outside corner, and then when the feedback came up, it would show it 5 or 6 inches, theoretical inches, away from where the pitch actually was. And I think that may be feeding in, like giving improper feedback with where your PCI is. Like, there definitely seems to be some sort of issue there that requires some tweaking. So yeah, hopefully it's something that they can definitely address, because yeah, I do agree that there is something that seems to be amiss there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But I also agree. I mean, I see people on the Twitter with this ridiculous center green argument. If you want to play an arcade baseball game, go dig out, what was that, MLB Bigs or whatever it used to be called, and go play that. I mean, I played baseball for 2.5 decades, and I squared up hundreds and thousands of balls over my career and lined out to the third baseman, or, flew out to the left fielder, or flew out to the center fielder. That's baseball. That's how it works.
Yeah, and this is the same thing that they're battling right now in NBA 2K, if I'm not mistaken, with their shot meter and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just like in basketball, sometimes you have the perfect shot and you still miss anyway.
Yeah. There's no perfect way to mix a sim and arcade experience. And that's what I feel like some people in the quote-unquote center green community are looking for. They want the sim aspects of baseball when it's convenient, but when they square up a center green pitch, they want it to be an automatic home run. Again, baseball in real life doesn't work like that, and this MLB The Show game is designed to be a real-life simulation. Therefore, you just got to deal with it.
Agreed.
I would drop my microphone if it wasn't attached to this Neewer boom arm.
Or if we weren't hot in the battles for an extra inning, the argument.
That's not my concern. That seems like it's a you problem.
I'm just saying.
It seems like a you problem.
The Zach Britton kid
1-1, here it comes.
almost battled out of a hole he dug himself into.
Behind a good fastball.
He threw that ball right by him. When you got a guy throwing that hard, you got to
Way to go, him.
think about using your hands. And just
But a perfect hit with perfect launch angle plus exit velocity, it hit 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying?
What about that wind?
But,
What's up?
well, none of it. I see. This is the part of the argument I don't get. Yeah. The funny part about it is center green is not actually the optimal way to hit a baseball.
Definitely want to get under it a little bit.
You should be hitting underneath the baseball a little bit.
Center green's a
Again,
good liner.
You know, again, I understand what K-Spots is saying. You have a perfect launch angle and exit velocity is a hit 90% of the time. Show me statistical evidence of that. Because I don't feel like that's an accurate number. I don't feel like if I line up a pitch perfectly, it's a home run or a solid hit 90% of the time. It's
Yeah, but that may be so that may be going into another. Let's go into the theory of the game, though. So the theory of the game is center green is ideal. Even though you're supposed to be in real life like as K-Spot said, about an inch under it. The problem is that in the game, if you're an inch under it, you actually get less of a bonus because you are not perfect on it.
right.
So I still think that there's still a chance of you not hitting a home run off of that. But let's be fair. There's too many home runs in the game right now as it is.
Yes.
So,
Like, I just feel like, I've played probably in MLB The Show 17, including versus computer and all of the games. I've probably played 70 to 80 games. And yeah, there is too many home runs. We've already talked about oppo power, being something out of this world this year. But I don't think at any point I've ever gone through an entire game and been like, I squared up everything the whole game and I did not hit well.
here's the problem. The problem is that the PCI feedback needs to match what is shown on the screen. That needs to work first. And by the way, I think it works offline. So
Yeah, I think offline it works.
and that's not me gloating that it works offline. I'm saying I think it works offline. I think the better judge of what's going on with the PCI would be offline as opposed to online. And then see, and I know a lot of people like playing online, but the testing should be done offline and then moved online. The problem is you need if you're just testing gameplay, then test it offline, then take that and put it online. If you have to fix the PCI online before you can do any testing on it.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, and I do appreciate K-Spots popping that link about the StatCast metric in the chat. The first thing that jumps out to me on this page is if you look at 2016 real life, 200 balls in play minimum, the highest percentage of barrel hits is 18.4%, which is less than 1 in 5. So people are squaring up the ball only 1 in 5 times. So if you hit a home run 20% of the time, that means 1 in 10 times you square up the barrel, you're going to hit a home run. I feel like this whole thing has been blown so far out of proportion now Again, sure there might be some tweaking there. People might be seeing some different things. Again, we've talked about maybe the PCI needs to be tweaked, but I don't ever want to play a game where every time I hit the center green, it's a home run.
Well, and here's the other problem with this too. Those barrels, if you look at the top, I'm going to call them the top 6. Right now, their batting averages are crap. Like both Chris Davis's hit are known for striking out as much as they are for power. Trumbo's the same way. Trumbo last year was now 2016 for him was like a 270 year, I think he hit. But Chris Carter is known for striking out. Nelson Cruz was never a batting average guy. He's always been a power guy. So you're looking at barrels. You're framing that. While I do agree that if you barrel up, it should be a hard hit ball.
Yes, absolutely.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. I don't agree that it should be a base hit.
Yeah. And I
also,
do.
You got to take into defensive field shifts and everything into play. So.
Yeah, and
you know what I hate to say here? I think the more realistic approach to hitting in this case is almost directional hitting for that, because you're not trying to zone the ball up, but you're saying whether you're going to hit with an uppercut or not. It's crazy. Think about this for 1 second. Forget left and right. Let's think up and down, okay? If you're directional hitting up and down and trying to tell up, then and it's a low pitch, you will most likely ground out, which is exactly what should happen. If you directional hit and try to hit a ground ball and swing under it, you'll pop it up. Jay Fowler, I agree with that. I agree with the fact that the PCI on top of the ball and you pop it up. But I think that's a problem with the PCI online, not with the actual mechanic of the game.
Yeah.
I think there's a problem with the PCI feedback. That's where the issue is. I don't think that there's an actual mechanic issue.
Yeah.
Just like how you're seeing people go into the game and their lineup says they have 8 Jose Altuves.
Right.
There are problems there are bugs that are causing the issues with what you're seeing that aren't being true.
We could literally dedicate an entire 2-hour episode of Bullpen Banter to talk about the issues relating to online play, because I also feel like the PCI works fantastically in offline modes. Franchise mode, for example, I haven't seen the PCI. You don't see the pitch jump or the morph pitch, as they call it, issues.
Oh, I've done that actually a lot.
Yes, and so have I. But yeah, I just feel like, again, I feel like a large portion of the people who are in on the center green argument are in it for the right reasons. They just want the PCI to work as the PCI is supposed to work.
Intended.
And I agree with that 100%. But it's just a lot of people would probably agree Diamond Dynasty is too much homer fueled as it is.
Quirks are not causing the problem because there are no active quirks online.
Yeah, the quirks online, they don't work.
The only quirks, I think, do they even show?
Yeah, they don't even show the split base quirks.
Right?
Yeah, split base quirks have nothing to do with online play.
Yeah, you're only seeing the quirks that are essentially just telling you what their stats are telling you.
And FSU, I'll respond to that, even though TJ already did. What do you want for compensation?
Working servers.
Yeah, the working game is what most people want. So until you get a working server, stop asking about compensation. It's kind of selfish. I hate to say that. It's selfish to ask for compensation right now.
But you're going to get, but let's just say they give you 10
two-strike quirk does not work. The two-strike quirk does not work online.
Yeah.
I've already confirmed. I went through every batter online that had quirks in franchise mode. The quirks do not work online.
Yeah, and I think they even confirmed it in one of the streams. All quirks based on splits in real life are not online. But the stuff that's like, this guy is good against righties because he has good numbers against righties is there. But that's just because it's just telling you that this guy has high contact versus righties or high power versus righties.
Okay, hold on. No, okay, I'm putting a stop to this compensation conversation right now. I had to deal with it on Twitter all day. I'm not dealing with it in the Bullpen Banter chat. Yes, they announced that there was going to be compensation. Their first priority, after the servers are working, their first priority is to get the servers working and get the game functioning that up to an acceptable level, which most people will agree online is not. They did not go back on their word. There will be compensation, as there was last year. But the thing is that it doesn't matter, because if they give you a bunch of packs and you can't get on the servers to sell the cards, it matters not.
Or if you get good cards in there and you can't play games that count with them.
Yeah, it's like, again, I understand people are frustrated. We have no control over compensation. It's not a discussion that we really want to get into.
I'm not even thinking about it until I get.
It's a conversation that when the time and place arises, But right now, the long and short of it is, they'll worry about compensation when they get the game working to a level that is much better than where the game is working right now.
Also, I'm not going to lie, my service has been working way better than a lot of people's.
Oh, Bob H, that's one thing that I don't think they're. I don't. He says it's franchise mode geared more towards the sim player. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Because it's not like Madden, where they make tuners and the game like Madden online is more based to a online gamer, and they're thinking about splitting the gameplay up. I don't think that is more based, like, the gameplay doesn't change online to offline.
Okay, I'm only going to talk about compensation one more time.
Don't even do it.
No, just because I disagree with Eric. Compensation might be irrelevant. Everyone gets it, but you can't compensate some and not compensate others. Should TJ get more compensation for me because TJ plays more Diamond Dynasty than I do? That's BS. I paid the same price for the game as everybody else. Everybody's going to get the same compensation. You might not like it. You may think it's irrelevant, but how else would you want them to do it? Like, I have an hour more than you, so I get a diamond card and you get gold? Yes. Why should you get... Okay. Sorry, I'm done. Move on to something else because I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm just trying to win this DD game, but it's the 7th inning and we're still tied at 2. Because Zach Britton blew a goddamn save! Also, John Ashford did as well. And if I would have if I would have picked the gold or diamond offensive player, I'd have probably already won this game.
Probably, yes. All right, well, if you're going to continue, I'm going to jump off because we're pushing 2 hours, and
Sorry,
it's
getting late up in Canada land.
It is. It's 12:20. It's 12:25.
Guys, well, if you want, you can follow us all on Twitter at That's Sports Gamer, at SnaggleJ, at Millennium. You can just on our Twitches and our YouTubes as well. Me and Snaggle are both our names there. But Millennium is the cool guy with the sub button over at twitch.tv/Operation Sports. Go give him an emoji, something or other. What else? What are you guys doing? What do you guys do this week? I know Millennium's got a Mets franchise that he's working on trying to trade everybody the Mets have ever had.
Probably.
Yeah. We were doing a Mets franchise online, and then I'm doing an Orioles franchise offline.
Sweet.
What nights are those?
I'm doing my best to remove myself from the community because half the people don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's my next project, by the way, guys.
What's that?
Remove myself from the community because I'm tired of hearing people that have no idea what they talk about get on the internet.
Big strikeouts. Yes. Big strikeouts.
I like it.
Snaggle J, what are you doing?
I've got the Blue Jays community franchise that I do on Tuesday nights with a bunch of we got some pen pals up in there. I know Uber, my God. See, you guys are trying to get me to talk like this. It's not working.
How's your how's Yoenis Cespedes doing tonight?
He's doing okay. He could have a little less neon on his body.
No, he doesn't.
And then I'm running a Reds franchise as well, just using the OS. And actually, this week, I'm gonna start streaming some Out of the Park. I'm gonna start streaming the Can-Am League.
That was a real good thing in real life for like a week.
What?
Sweet game went to the queue. Maybe I'll get out of that loss.
What was a real good thing in my life for like a week?
That can't. Oh no, Can-Am League's real. Oh, Rockland Boulders. You want to go catch a game?
MK,
Rock
MK,
boulders.
MK, you switch players to R2, dude. Is it R2 or L2?
Oh, on
It's
top
R2.
fly, R2.
Yeah.
I thought he meant talking about
R2,
in the
yeah.
lineup. That's why I said squad management earlier. Thank you for the follow, hipster.
Rip.
What? Rip what?
Nothing. Just,
He's a new guy.
hey,
MK just got a PlayStation today. Just got his PSN set up today.
Nice.
good job. Sweet job.
If he wants, I'll give
Rip.
out his name. People can go follow him. Be friends with him. But that's up to him. But yeah. That's going to do it
It's
for
L2. Yeah, it's L2. There you go.
Are you sure? Yeah, R2 is dive.
R2 side, yep.
Great show. Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was great.
This was good.
Except for that loss in
Next
PR.
next week we'll be back talking about not rebuild, like one step away franchises.
Yeah, like 3 to 5 year teams.
Yeah. Probably the most popular category of teams, I would gamble to say.
Wait, I would almost say, I might argue that the Braves are in there. I think I'm going to argue it.
You'll have to tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, definitely have to do that. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Monday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Definitely hit that follow button to get notified when we go live. But yeah, as I said, the Twitters, YouTubes, and Twitches, you can find us all. Curry Mode, cute guy. Go give him a follow on PSN. Curry Mode, I believe is his name. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great night. And take it easy. Get out of the bullpen. Unlike Zach Brayton, who I should have left in the friggin' bullpen. And get in the game. Take it easy, folks.